Hi, welcome to the Meat Minute. I'm Stacy Zelli here at Purdue University. And what we're going to talk about in this video is grilling and just grill maintenance in general. This is a propane grill, as you can tell, and it can sometimes be a little intimidating to some people thinking about the idea of propane, but in many ways, they're very simple to use. Really, the biggest thing you want to make sure is that, of course, you've got an ample amount of propane to get through your cooking process. And then, of course, make sure you always shut off your propane here at the knobs and then on the actual tank itself. We want to make sure that that's shut off whenever you're not using it. The other thing that's important, regardless of your grilling selection, whether it be propane or charcoal, is it's very important to make sure that you clean your grill nicely. Cleaning the grill is going to help reduce flare-ups. It's also going to make sure you impart good flavor on your product. Now, you can find a variety of different methods in which to clean. We've got, of course, just a wire bristle brush here. Make sure that this is one item you don't want to go cheap on, because if you do, you'll end up having metal bristles that can actually remain on the grill grates themselves, and that's going to end up adding little slivers of meat to your products, and you do not want that. The other thing you want to make sure you do is not only can you clean it with this in between, every so often in between your cooking cycles, but go ahead and remove these grates and run them in a dishwasher by themselves on a cycle that will be able to clean them nicely. That again will help reduce any of those flare-ups, or again getting you some off flavors or some smoke that you're not expecting. Now, whenever you're using a propane grill, we generally think of these as being used for high temperature cooking methods. Generally, you're going to have the temperature well above 400 degrees. If you're doing that, of course, that means you're usually going to be cooking your product directly over whatever burners you have. You can actually use these for low temperature cooking if you want. Again, that's where we want the product to only be in an environment of less than 250 degrees. If you're going to use it for low temperature, this is a nice big grill, so it lends itself nicely for that. I'd probably only turn on 1 to 2 burners and make sure the product is over on the other side so it's not directly above the heat. You can also do the same thing with a charcoal grill. Of course, most of your charcoal grills are generally smaller, especially if it's a round or kettle drum cooker. And with those, of course, again, you'd want to make sure you have your grill or your coals on one side and your product on the other. But again, most of the time you're going to use those for a direct high heat cooking. So whenever we're using it for high heat, just as a reminder, we want to use that for things like burgers, brats, steaks, chicken breasts, things that we know aren't going to have that many problems when it comes to tenderness. One last thing that I want to talk about in relation to grilling is if you're going to use charcoal grills, don't use lighter fluid. What you can invest in instead of lighter fluid is what is known as a chimney starter. Now, as you can see, it's got a grate that's a couple inches off the top here. And so how this works is you actually load your charcoal into the top here. Then you can put paper underneath, and you can either set it on the grill or, of course, on your driveway or gravel surface, something that's not going to burn. And you can actually light then that paper underneath here. What that'll do is actually bring the heat up and heat all your coals nice and evenly. And it takes about 15 to 20 minutes to light this entire chimney smoker with your coals. And then you can just dump them into your charcoal grill and you're good to go. It's also really nice if you're going to have an all-day cooking marathon. This way you can be heating up your next set of coals while you've got some that you're already cooking with. And this will obviously allow you to not have to use lighter fluid. Lighter fluid can give you kind of a residue and a flavor on your product that you don't have, that isn't necessarily overly satisfying. So we look forward to talking to you in the future on another Meat Minute.